Hi guys, it's Tuesday and I am starting the vlog off on a Tuesday and nobody cares, nobody says anything because Monday was a bit of a day. I finished work, I had to go and get my dad's prescription and they didn't have it. Bear in mind we put this in last week with plenty of time for them to get it in before my dad ran out and they didn't have it. So I spoke to the receptionist, spoke to the on-call doctor to see if they could bring it in, but it wouldn't be for an hour until it would be between any time between 5 and 6. So I had to sort of hang around the shopping centre until then, which was fun. All sorted now, but I just didn't want to vlog, I just wanted to chill. So when did I leave you? I think the last vlog I had picked up the Ravens. I have, surprise surprise, since finished it. I gave it a 4 or 5. Let's just check the ratings. I think it was 5 because I did absolutely love that book. Yep, I gave it 5 stars. Thoroughly enjoyed it. I started it either the Thursday or the Friday last week, which you'll have seen because the vlog eventually went up today. And I finished it on the Saturday. I then started reading Tidelands, which is up there somewhere. I'm just over halfway through, and with that one, it's not giving me 5-star feels so far, but I am getting very invested in the writing. With Philippa Gregory's books, I do think they are a lot more slow-paced. The romance was definitely slow burn between a priest and a fishwife. But back to... Oh, I didn't tell you what The Ravens was about. So The Ravens by Cass Morgan and Danielle Page is the story of Vivi Devereaux, who doesn't know she's a witch, and Scarlet Winter, who does know she's a witch, attending the same university in Savannah in Georgia, at Westerly. They are Scarlet has always known she's a witch. Her mother and her sister were the president of the sorority that Scarlet's in, the Kappa Rho Nu, and also known as the Ravens, which to the outside looks like a super prestigious, super secretive, almost cult-like sorority, which is also a coven. So that, and the witches, the sisters, have a connection to the Ravens as their familiar. So Scarlet has grown up with this, and it has been pressed upon her that she has to be the best, and to be the best she needs to be the best witch, the best sister, and also the president of the sorority. And that has left its mark on her. She's cold, she's calculating, and she is driven. Not that that's a bad thing, because I did enjoy reading from her as she grew as a character. Then on the flip side, we have Vivi, or Vivian, who is just starting her university journey. She's never been in one place long enough to put down proper roots because her mum Daphne keeps uprooting them when she has visions or feelings, which is important, so just remember that bit. She uproots them, so obviously Vivi doesn't have much. She's used to being the what did she say, the perpetual new girl or the perennial new girl, something like that. So in terms of her character, she's shy, she's a bit of a wallflower. She doesn't intend to join the sorority, but fate, destiny, whatever you want to call it. And then as the story progresses, we see Vivi come into her own. She becomes a lot more confident, and she starts to realise, well, the both girls start to realise that what they want isn't necessarily what they've been told is good for them. So I gave that 5 stars. I did love the ending. I didn't see it coming, but it does fit with the whole sisterhood vibe that's going on, and finding out, and forgiveness is a big part of this. There is trigger warnings in this for suicide, possibly a bit of self-harm because there is a bit of blood magic involved, but yeah, 5 stars. And then we have my current read, which is up here. 2 seconds to go get it. Tidelands by Philippa Gregory. And I guess here I am on page 258. This isn't told in chapters so much as times. So it is set in 1648, which I think is the... Oh, Hannah, you are an English person, you should know when the Civil War was. But it is around about the Civil War between King Charles and Oliver Cromwell. At the moment, Charles is locked up and Cromwell is beating his armies. So this follows sort of an ordinary woman called Eleanor and her 2 young children, Alice and Rob, and they live in the Tidelands of Sussex, which I believe is a real place. But Eleanor is a bit of a midwife, and a herbalist. She's what we would class as a spiritualist in this day and age. She knows about the herbs, and there are rumours of her being a witch. Now, she goes to the church on Midsummer Night's Eve to see if she can see the ghost of her husband, who is missing, presumed dead, because she has the sight like her mother and pretty much every female going back from that. But Eleanor's way of life does put her under suspicion, and she is on the breadline. She has to rely on charity, which her daughter doesn't like. But then, instead of seeing the ghost of her husband, she sees the vicar, or father, James, who is on his own little mission to meet the parish lord, and it goes from there. So I don't want to say too much about it, because obviously I'm nearly finished. But yeah, it's very beautiful writing. It's draws that line between, what is Eleanor actually bewitching James, or is it a little bit of give and take, because obviously James is a priest and he's not supposed to have those feelings. Yes, this is a romance, so you can kind of figure out where it's going, but it's more than that. It is a historical romance. You have your political intrigue, your family bonds, your sense of a woman is nothing without a man, which both Eleanor and Alice are rebelling against in their own subtle way. Eleanor saves up some money and buys a boat, to which everybody in the village is like, whoa, no. So yeah, and there is a sequel which is on my TBR as well, which is the last of the official TBR. So when Sean came to pick me up last week, I did have him pick out some more books for me, just in case I do finish. Now, these ones aren't official, so if I don't get to them by the end of the month, which I doubt, because it is only the 18th, and I think there's like 31, is it 31? Yeah, and there's 31 days in May, and I am flying through this. And he did pick up quite a big chunky book, so I'll leave that till last. But yeah, this one, it's giving me torn, because I don't absolutely love it, but I am invested in what happens next, and I do hope that the characters do get their happy ever after. But because there's a sequel, I'm either thinking that this lands on a cliffhanger, or nothing gets resolved enough. So we'll see what happens with that one, and I think I have rambled long enough for this video. So, the reason why my vlogs have been late: first one, the footage deleted itself, or I'm not quite sure how that happened. And then the last one that just went up today, the editing software that I use decided it didn't like long videos, or even the video that you would have seen that I posted yesterday. It's just had enough. So I've downloaded a new one and I'm still getting to grips with that. So while I figure that one out, these vlogs are going to be all over the place, but we don't come here for we don't come here for class and precision. We come here to see me talk about these. So I'm going to read, and I'll either update you tomorrow, or I'll come back to you when I finish this, if that happens tonight, and I'll just get on with it. So, me again. Well, who else would it be? But I finished Tidelands. And from, I can't remember what I've just told you, but I think I told you the brief synopsis about it without trying to be too spoilery. But the ending, oh my god. You know what's happening, you know what's going to happen, because this, it's the time of history where witch mania was a thing, where everybody was like, oh, woman living on her own, witch, or this woman has a close bond with her dog, witch, that kind of thing. But there's so much more to it, and I think up until the ending, which nearly had me in tears because of the inevitability of it, it was a 4-star. But then the ending and just how it all came about and how all these secrets were revealed gave me 5 stars. I did run it through Copile just because I wasn't sure, because I don't really like James, and he is our main love interest, our main male protagonist, and we do see things through his point of view, and I do understand where he's coming from. Obviously he's a man of God with a secret as well. He's like that. You don't find out that secret until later on in the book. But I don't like him. He seems too stuck up, and everything is. And at first he is grateful to Eleanor for saving him, and then he starts to pity her, and then they have their night, and then I'm just like, I really don't like you, dude. And then there is an instance in here that really puts me off. So, without trying to give too much away, major trigger warnings for not so much miscarriage, because it's nothing is on page, but there is talk of losing a child. Eleanor's sister-in-law lost a child in childbirth, so obviously if you're sensitive to that, you don't see it, but it is referenced quite a lot. There's death of a grandparent, not Eleanor's, but it is in here. Obviously there's no witchcraft or anything like that, but there is attempted suicide, attempted in the sense that she thinks about it, but she doesn't go through with it. And then there is the scene at the end is quite graphic, so if you are scared of water or drowning, that's obviously going to be a big thing. But I'm gonna pop this on the TBR cart to talk about more in my wrap up, and since it is early-ish, it's about 8:30, I'm going to read Dark Tides. I do have Becca from Becca Books, is it? Becca and the Books, her vlog, she's just uploaded a new vlog, so I've just had that on in the background while I've been reading. That tends to be how I read now. I put something on in the background and just let that play. So I'm on book 7 of the month. So, no, book 8. I'm about to start book 8 when I finish this update. And yeah, I don't think there's anything else I need to tell you other than I fell back in love with Philippa Gregory. I think when it comes to historical fiction, I think I prefer it when it's more about normal, everyday people as opposed to kings and queens and royalty. I like it a bit more historical as a time period rather than historical as fact. But saying that, I did enjoy the other Boleyn Girl. I absolutely adore that one and saved it from an unhaul. Yeah, I think that's probably why I like this one more than the Tudor Queens series or the Cousins War, whatever it's called. Yes, I know the other Boleyn Girl could probably fit in that series, but in my brain it's a standalone because it doesn't follow a real it does follow a real person, but she's not as well known, and I think that's what I like about it. I like the fiction side of historical fiction as opposed to the realistic side. The same with Kate Moss's books. Labyrinth I absolutely adore. Sepulchre, 5 stars, but it's not as 5-star as Labyrinth. That's all-time favourite historical fiction, I would say. But yeah, I'm going to stop rambling and read some more. And I'll probably not update until tomorrow afternoon after work, but hopefully I'll have made a decent chunk on Dark Tides, which is the sequel and my last official book on the TBR. So I'll probably just tell you what I think about that tomorrow. So this is me signing off for tonight, and I'll come back and chat tomorrow once work's finished and I've hopefully got something to say about Dark Tides. Hi guys, it's Wednesday and I'm just popping in to let you know about Dark Tides, which is the sequel to Tidelands, which I finished yesterday, and I started this last night and I read a bit after work while I was waiting for my mum to come in so we could go shopping, and then I read a bit after my tea. So I'm on the 96 page mark, and with it being a sequel, I can't really tell you much about it without spoiling the events of Tideland. So I'm going to try not to spoil you, but still give you a good idea of what's going on. So this is set 21 years after the events of Tidelands. So if I remember my history, that means that Cromwell got deaded, and they've put Charles II on the throne. So England has a monarchy again. So this is the Restoration period. So it's now 1670. So Alice and Eleanor have moved following the end of Tidelands. They've moved into a shabby warehouse on the south side of the River Thames. That's a direct quote. And James is back. I still don't like him very much. I still think he's very self-important, and it's made worse because now he has what he was missing in the first book, and I still don't like him. And there's also there's a new mystery, because obviously Eleanor has two children. She has Alice and she has Rob. Now these 2 children are all grown up now, and Rob moved to Venice in service. I think he was training to be an apothecary or a doctor in the first book, so he obviously did well in that. I don't think that was a spoiler. But then he goes to Venice, which, okay, all well and do, but this woman turns up claiming to be Rob's widow, and Eleanor, because she doesn't believe that Rob is dead, she hasn't felt any dread or anything of that nature. And remember, Eleanor is a bit of a cunning woman. She's accused of lots of things in the first book, which give way to maybe this mystery. Maybe Eleanor is right. But she comes in to tell Eleanor and Alice how Rob died, and she brings her baby, supposedly Rob's son. But Ned, Eleanor's brother, is in the colonies, which is an interesting take, because I admittedly don't know much about American history, but this is set during the colonization of America, I want to say, by the Britons. He's in New England. Now Ned is in an interesting position at the start of the book, at least. He's made friends with the Indians, the natives. Now they are referred to as Indians in this book, but I think I'm just going to use the term native. So he's made friends with the natives. He trades with them openly, and while being English and sticking to the English side of the river, as it were. So he's in an interesting position, and he's called upon to translate deeds and deal with the English on behalf of the natives, and vice versa, but there is a level of distrust between them even there. And the little end of it says, set in the poverty and glamour of Restoration London, in the golden streets of Venice, and on the tensely contested frontier of early America, this is a novel of greed and desire, for love, for wealth, for a child, and for home. And yes, I can see the familial aspect of this coming through, because obviously the Rickeys, Alice, Eleanor, and the two others are a very close-knit family, and I'm just loving this writing style. I'm falling back in love with the characters, even though so for these characters 21 years has passed, but for me it feels like that went by in a blink of an eye, probably because I am reading them in such quick succession. But yeah, I don't know rating wise, because like I say, I'm only on page 97, and this is a 491 page book, I think. No, 472. There we go. So shorter than I thought, and it is quite chunky text. I mean, it's quite easy to read, but yeah, enjoying it. I do want to know what happens, even if I have a really bad feeling that something isn't quite right, something's going to go down, and hopefully James redeems himself. But I doubt it. He hasn't done anything in either of the books that particularly endears me to him. But you never know, that might change in this one. So I'll probably just read for the rest of the night. I don't think I'll finish it tonight, so I'll probably either update you if something interesting happens, or I'll just give you an update tomorrow. So bye for now. Hi guys, it's Friday. I don't know why I'm introducing this as if it's a new video, but anyway. Oh, pardon, what? Lots to update you on. I actually finished Dark Tides last night. I just couldn't be bothered to get the camera out and vlog, because I finished it literally just before I was due to go to bed. And I gave this 5 stars. Now this is the sequel to Tidelands, and just look at the beautiful dust jacket. Just look at it. But I don't know what I can tell you without spoiling the first book, other than it starts near enough exactly 21 years after the events of Tidelands. We follow Eleanor and Alice, but we also follow James, who I still don't like, and we follow some new characters. We follow Livia, who is Rob's Italian widow, or so she claims, and then we follow Sarah and Johnny. Now I can't tell you who Sarah and Johnny are in relation to, in character relation, but they are important to the story, and this takes place in Sussex. No, not Sussex. In, where do I think Sussex? Anyway, it's set on the banks of the River Tyne in a warehouse on the south side. We mainly follow, that's where it starts and ends, and we also end up in Venice, and we follow Ned, Eleanor's brother, who is trying to make a life for himself in New England in the time when England was taking over and being nasty to the Native Americans who lived there. 5 stars again. I will say the end gets a bit soap opera-y. Is that a word? Anyway, it's my word. So the end gets a bit... Wouldn't be... If I say, my English viewers will know what I mean. If I say it was very EastEnders plotline, you'll probably understand the sort of melodramatic revelations that are coming out. But yeah, still don't like James. But I don't think you're meant to. He isn't... He's, in the first book, I think he tries to be set up as... And he thinks of himself a little bit, more so in this one, as a Prince Charming come to rescue his fair maiden type of character, but he doesn't pull it off, in my opinion. So other people might like him, but I don't. And then I started and finished within the same day, go me, Later by Stephen King, and I gave this one 4 stars. Now, with it being a thriller, horror type book, I don't want to tell you too much going into it. Hang on. Yeah, so with it being a horror thriller book, I don't want to tell you too much what happens, but we follow Jamie through various stages of his life as he comes to terms with the fact that he can see ghosts and he can interact with them. So I would actually say this is more of a crime thriller with a slice of paranormal activity nuance, but I gave it 4 stars. And with books that I don't really read too much of the genre, so we have our contemporaries, our crime, pretty much anything that isn't fantasy or historical fiction, I don't tend to give 5 stars because personally I don't know if it is a good example of the genre or not, unless I absolutely fall in love with it. So we'll just stick to 4 stars on this one. And I think that's going to be it for this vlog. As you're seeing this on the Monday, hopefully, it'll be my birthday the day before on the Sunday, so if you just want to let me know that you were watching, you can leave me an emoji that relates to birthdays, so the cake, the present, a star, or if you want to leave a comment but you're not sure what to say, you can always leave happy birthday. And I think that's it. I'll see you. I'll be hanging around in the comments after I've posted this anyway, and I'll see you in the next one. So like if you liked it, subscribe if you want to see this, talk about these, and I'll see you in the next one. Bye.